The NFL Top 100 Players is an annual ballot conducted by NFL players that attempts to rank the best NFL players heading into the next season. This first started in 2011 and since then has gotten a lot of attention to see who NFL players believe are the best of the best amongst their peers. This season, we are now within the top 20 for the best NFL players countdown, but not without plenty of controversy so far. While it may seem that other NFL players would know well how to rank the top 100 players of the NFL, this has not always been the case. Just looking at this year alone, Tyreek Hill and Puka Nacua, who didn't even crack 1,000 yards receiving, are ahead of guys like Terry McLaurin and Brian Thomas Jr., who each had dominant seasons. Guys like Dak Prescott and Tua Tagovailoa made the list despite injuries and despite not playing up to their 2023 seasons when they were healthy. It also shocked me that Kyren Williams and James Cook, two running backs with 14 and 16 touchdown rushes respectively, were not even in the top 80. All of these controversial placements happened just this year, which means that in the 15-year history of this show, there is bound to be quite the fuming from the public because of the rankings. All of this has made me think, what is the worst ranking that has ever happened in the history of this show? More specifically, I wanted to look at who got snubbed from the top 100 list worse than anybody else. Of course, there are a lot of bad snubs for guys who miss the list altogether, which I will ultimately get to and will be the focus of this video. But it is also noteworthy that many bad placements happen within the top 100 itself, and that just because a certain player makes the top 100 doesn't mean that they still can't be underrated. Some examples of this include 2014 to 15 Randall Cobb at 100, 2020 to 2021 Tre'Davious White at 95, and 2016 to 17 Matt Ryan only at number 10 despite winning the MVP. There are obviously many other underrated players within the top 100, but now let's look at the best of the best, the players who missed the top 100 entirely. In looking at some examples of players who were snubbed from the top 100 list, there are some that really stand out. Despite having over 1,100 rushing yards and 11 touchdowns as a rookie, Jonathan Taylor missed the list entirely in 2020-21. Chris Harris Jr. of the Broncos had an elite season in 2018-19 with 49 tackles and 3 interceptions, but missed the top 100 list partially due to missing 4 games. Joe Mixon also missed the list entirely in 2019-20, and despite being on an awful Bengals team, had over 1,400 yards and 8 total touchdowns. Many of these rankings are debatable, if nothing else, but there is one player who missed the list entirely that there should have never really been a debate for. That was 2017-18 Alex Smith. Now, before I get to why this is so shocking that Alex Smith missed the list this season, I figured I would give some context as to his career trajectory so far. After a rough first 6 years with the 49ers, Smith needed to improve his performance and improve it quick. He finally got the Niners to the playoffs with his best statistical season yet in 2011, and was a muff punt away from potentially making the Super Bowl. Smith also had a solid start to 2012 with San Francisco, but surprisingly got benched. With that, his career was in question. Kansas City gave Alex Smith a chance in 2013, and he delivered. In his 5 seasons with the Chiefs, Alex Smith led them to a winning record every season and the playoffs in 4 of his 5 seasons there. Despite many accusations of being a game manager in Kansas City, Alex Smith did get enough credit to make the top 100 list a couple times with the Chiefs, getting ranked number 81 back-to-back years in 2016 and 2017. However, things would change that year in 2017.
Who it is? With the 10th pick in the 2017 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select Patrick Mahomes, the second quarterback.
The Chiefs were ready to move in a different direction at quarterback. Sure, Alex Smith was stable, but they wanted to find a guy that they thought could put them over the top in the playoffs. And I guess we'll just say that that has worked out pretty well for them. However, the Chiefs did give Alex Smith one more season in 2017, and man, did he deliver. In the 2017 regular season, Alex Smith threw his most yards and touchdowns of his career, and also had the best touchdown to interception ratio that season at 26-5. He even led the league in passer rating at 104.7. This ultimately led the Chiefs to a playoff spot, and without much question, Alex Smith's best season as a starter. It felt like the question moved from if to win for Alex Smith making the list. This felt all the more obvious when other QBs like Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr, and somehow Jimmy Garoppolo were already revealed despite worse statistical seasons and no playoff appearance. As the list continued to be revealed, it kept feeling like we were waiting for how high Alex Smith would be on the list. I know from watching that year's list that I didn't even consider Alex Smith to be off the list until we got to the top 20. Despite still a glimmer of hope for Alex Smith to make the list at this point, it was in fact true that he was left off the list altogether. As mentioned before, there were many quarterbacks who were put on the list that were not on Alex Smith's level that season. While yes, the Chiefs did blow a big lead in the playoffs, and Alex Smith was already traded to the Washington team by the time this list was revealed, the stats that he put up the prior season felt like it was at least warranted a top 100 appearance. I mean, yeah, he may have had a very talented offense, but he did ultimately come through in a big way and more than in prior years when he did in fact make the top 100 list. This ranking, or lack thereof, is shocking in many ways. It is the only time a quarterback threw 25 or more touchdowns and 5 or less interceptions to miss the list. It also is stunning in looking at the other passer rating leaders and where they ranked on the top 100 list compared to Alex Smith. Sure, passer rating isn't everything, but if you lead the league in that category, it does feel like a top 100 appearance should be a given. Ryan Tannehill was the only other quarterback to lead the league in this stat and not make the top 100, which was also shocking, but he was the backup for the first 6 games with the Titans. This at least makes a little more sense than missing just one game because you already have a playoff spot clinched. Ultimately, while the top 100 players list is a fun ranking, like any other list, it is bound to bring much controversy and much anger amongst fans who think a certain player is underrated. While there have been many players that one would easily think would make the top 100 list and have missed it before, none of them compare to Alex Smith in 2017 to 2018 for the playoff-bound Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, after all, how notable is the next quarterback to start for the Chiefs?